in 1 moment. And we're live, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the special council meeting of the town of Lincoln of October 4th, 2021 to order. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sandra Easton, Mayor of the town of Lincoln and Chair of today's special council meeting. We are meeting electronically through Zoom during this declared emergency period. Members of the public may observe the proceedings by accessing the live webcast at our YouTube channel. The Niagara region is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations as the Haudenosaunee, that is the correct pronunciation, the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The regional municipality of Niagara stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. You'll note that we have a new land acknowledgement, and this is the one that was approved at the region, and so we are reciting it at the local level as well. As a bit of an addition to this, and just in terms of the learning that we have, progressive learning that we have in regard to our relationship with our Indigenous peoples, it's important to take note that it's not just a recital, but we have a very, very commendable relationship that's developing with the Six Nations. And this was proven again at the opening of the museum on Friday night when Chief Laforme spoke and welcomed us to become part of the process of truth and reconciliation. I will ask the town clerk to complete a roll call of council so that we can confirm everyone's attendance as we are holding this meeting electronically today and confirm quorum. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councillor Regina.
Here.
Councillor and Deputy Mayor Russell.
Here.
Councillor Pachariva.
Here.
Councillor Brunet.
Present.
Councillor McPherson.
Here.
Councillor McClick.
Here.
Councillor Timmers.
Here.
Councillor Reimer.
Here.
Mayor Easton.
Present.
Everyone is here. We have quorum.
Thank you. And I would like to recognize Councillor Russell, who is now the Deputy Mayor until the end of December. Thank you, Councillor. And I also want to thank Councillor Winchima for her taking on a number of duties in her last few months, her rotation. Thank you very much, Councillor. Actually, there were some very appropriate items that came up that I thought suited you very well. So Deputy Mayor Russell, I'll be looking for those opportunities for you as well. In addition, I want to take a moment to welcome the staff we have joining us today electronically: Chief Administrative Officer Mike Pakopoulos, Director of Finance, Administration and Innovation Lance Wagner, Director of Special Projects Kathleen Dale, Director of Planning and Development Matt Bruder, Fire Chief Greg Hudson, Director of Economic Development and Communications Paul Deaney, Manager of Communications Liliana Busnello, Director of Public Works Dave Graham, Administrative Support Deanna Phillips, IT staff are in attendance. Moderating and clerking the meeting today, we have our Town Clerk Julie Kirklos. And also joining us this evening, Regional Councillor Foster from Niagara Region. And I also welcome Shanza Khan, Director, Canadian Council of Muslim Women, Niagara Halton. Welcome, Shanza, and we'll be reading the proclamation later. As this is a virtual meeting, I will ask that we follow some procedures during this electronic meeting. Should there be a connection or a service disruption for the chair, or if quorum is lost, the chair and or clerk will call a 10-minute recess to reconnect and to regain quorum. If quorum is lost, the meeting will be adjourned. If connection is lost from the chair, deputy mayor or the vice chair will resume the meeting. Once reconnection is achieved, the chair will assume their role. Each member of council who wishes to speak, press the raise hand feature on your video call, and the clerk will track our speakers list today, and then invite you to speak when I open it for comments or questions. When I finish reading a motion and announcing the mover and seconder, the clerk will then call out the vote by reading each member of council's name out loud. Please remember to take yourselves off mute during this portion of the meeting so that you confirm if you are in support or opposed. And also, when not speaking, please remember to put yourselves on mute. Do members have a declared interest? Madam Clerk, I have a declared interest with from Councillor Reimer regarding item 16.3, and Councillor Reimer wishes to speak to this. Councillor Reimer.
Hey, Mayor Easton. Yes, I'm declaring interest in item 16.3, bylaw 2021-80. The applicant is a customer of the company that I work for.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Our next item, this is rather exciting. End of summer, and of course, lots of sports taking place throughout the town. And we have an under 11 rep team called the Stingers, the Beamsville Stingers. And they won. They are the provincial champions in the B division of Ontario Baseball Championships. And CEO Kirkopoulos and I were advised of this by one of the coaches and parents of a team member. They're not in attendance, unfortunately. It's always great to have the whole crowd in. And however, on behalf of council and the town of Lincoln, I would like to acknowledge and offer congratulations to each and every member of the under 11 Beamsville Stingers rep baseball team. And I'm going to name each player. And we also sent each of them their own personal certificate of congratulations. We have Robert Cormier, Corin Fife, Maddox Giroux, Cole Kirshner, Paxton Cott, Chase Shulstra, Madden Smith, Carter Thompson, Reed Tordawa, Braden Walker, Lucas Whitnell, and Cash Wiley. Congratulations to all of you. We hope that you also had a great time playing. It's always great to win. You make us all very proud. Thank you. Item number 6 is proclamations. And we have one proclamation this evening. October is recognized as Islamic History Month. And joining us, we have Shanza Khan, as I introduced and welcomed earlier. Shanza is the director of the Canadian Council of Muslim Women, Niagara Halton. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the town of Lincoln recognizes the significant contributions of Lincoln's Islamic community in shaping the social, economic, cultural, and historical fabric of Lincoln. And whereas the town of Lincoln celebrates the diversity, equality, and vibrance of Lincoln and its Islamic community, and whereas this proclamation shall provide Lincoln residents now and in the upcoming future a chance to reflect and celebrate and learn about the heritage and the valued contributions that have been made by the Islamic community in Lincoln through now and the past. And whereas the town of Lincoln values diversity, unity, and inclusiveness to strengthen and enrich Lincoln. Now, therefore, I, Sandra Easton, Mayor of the town of Lincoln, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2021 as Islamic History Month. Thank you, Shanza, for joining us virtually this evening and for bringing this forward. I know our legislative services staff will ensure you receive the proclamation certificate following my signing. Thank you very much. Do members,
Thank
please go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, and Assalamu alaikum and peace and blessings to all.
Thank you, Shanza. Thank you very much for joining us. Item number 7 is announcements by members. Councillors, do members have any announcements? And we have a limit of 3 items. Councillor Patrieva.
Thanks, Your Worship. Today is the National Day of Action for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. The town mourns along with the Indigenous communities today, and we pledge to continue fighting against anti-Indigenous racism and for the safety of all women and girls in our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. And Councillor Regina.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor. As an update from the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the event engagement that the Chamber has achieved over the last month. There was a Business Before 9 event at the Grand Oak Culinary Market. 21 registered and 20 attended. That was wonderful because they were able to hold it outside and people were able to see each other. It's been a long time since the Chamber has been able to have an in-person event. So that was quite a success. And also there was the West Niagara Chamber's All Candidates Election event that was held on online, I should say. 33 registered and 29 attended. Of course, there's the OBAA event, as most of you are aware, because you attended the Outstanding Business Achievement Awards on September 16th. The event was held successfully outdoors at Siouxan Staff's Estate Winery. 113 registered and 110 attended. The Tourism Award of Excellence went to Reveille Brunch Cafe. The nonprofit showcase went to the Rotary Club of Lincoln. The Rotary Pathways to Opportunities Award went to JNE Recovery. The Community Partner Award went to SIPA from Shoppers Drug Mart in Beamsville. Business of the Year winners are as follows. Small Business of the Year, Dean's No Frills. Medium Business of the Year, Fielding Estate Winery. And Large Business of the Year, PBI, Printing by Innovation, Inc. Also wanted to let you know that we held our elections today at the chamber meeting, and new president is Jared Brandon, vice president Katie Letourneau and Carrie Reinach, treasurer Diane Bubenko, and secretary Linda O'Donnell. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Russell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to call out and acknowledge the staff and the council that attended the Conkle Creek grand opening last Saturday. I want to thank Ms. Busnello for organizing the event and Director Graham in particular, and Mr. Walter Neubauer for their continued shepherding of that project. I know that over the last week and even a bit prior before the official opening, there's been a lot of use, a lot of positive comments about that new trail and all the amenities surrounding it. And I know that there also have been a couple concerns raised by some of the residents that back onto the trail, and I'm more than pleased to hear how Walter and Dave have been addressing the issues and getting directly back to the residents and trying to quell their concerns as much as they can and get things ship-shape. So I just want to thank them very much for all their time and their effort. And again, I think it's a great project, and I know our community is better off for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. It really was a wonderful event. Very busy as well. I don't see any other hands, Madam Clerk. Oh, I do. I see Councillor McPherson. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to acknowledge the grand opening of the Lincoln Museum and Cultural Center, home of the historical. I'm going to get it wrong. Can somebody help me out there with the
historical museum
of the 20? Thank you. And a wonderful event on Friday evening with lots of pomp and circumstance and ribbon cutting, and then certainly on Saturday with the grand opening. And I did hear that there were 1,000 tickets that were gobbled up, and a lot of people were going through the museum. So very, very exciting weekend here in Ward 3 with the grand opening of the museum. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councillor Mikulik.
Thank you very much, Mayor Easton. I just give a shout out to Harbor Estates Winery. I just happened to trip in there by accident on Saturday afternoon. They hosted the Great Stomp. There was a whole bunch of teams competing and crushing grapes and all socially distanced. Crowd. It was like a nice afternoon. I happened to come by it by accident, and fantastic effort by all the teams, by all the sponsors. They raised, when I left, they had raised at that point $54,000 towards Shelter Canada, nonprofit organization, helping build houses in El Salvador for the less fortunate. I thought it was a great community event. Many local businesses were in attendance, and Danielle and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thank you.
That's good. Thanks for the newsy. That's good. All right. Thank you very much, councilors. We're on to item number 8, motion to approve council minutes, and we have two sets of minutes to approve. Item 8.1, special council minutes of September 13th, 2021. And item 8.2, special council minutes of September 29th, 2021. Do members of council have any questions? There being none, I have a motion moved by Councillor Timmers and seconded by Councillor Rajima. The council approved the minutes of the following meetings of council: special council minutes of September 13th, 2021, special council minutes of September 29th, 2021. Madam Clerk, would you please call out the vote?
Thank you, Councillor Brunet.
Yes.
Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Miklick,
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva,
Yes.
Councillor Reimer,
Yes.
Councillor Rajima,
Yes.
Councillor Russell,
Yes.
Councillor Timmers,
Yes.
and Mayor Easton,
Yes,
and that carries.
thank you. We have no delegations at this time, and we have no presentations. And there is no council information that's been carried forward. Item number 12, recommendations from standing committees. We are now considering the following. Item 12.1, Committee of the Whole Budget, minutes of September the 15th, 2021. And item 12.2, Committee of the Whole minutes of September 29th, 2021. Do members have any questions? There being none, I have a motion moved by Councillor Pachariva and seconded by Councillor Reimer. That council approved the following recommendations from standing committee. Committee of the Whole Budget, minutes of September 15th, 2021. Committee of the Whole minutes of September 29th, 2021. Madam Clerk, please call out the vote.
Thank you, Councillor Brunet,
Yes.
Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Miklick,
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva,
Yes.
Councillor Reimer,
Yes.
Councillor Rajima, Councillor Rajima.
Sorry, I thought I had unmuted. Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Russell,
Yes.
Councillor Timmers,
Yes.
and Mayor Easton.
For
That carries.
the next item is notice of motion, and we're now considering item 13.1, which is a notice of motion brought forward by Councillor Russell. This is an introductory notice of motion regarding regulating Airbnbs and will be considered at the next scheduled council meeting. Councillor Russell, would you like to provide introductory remarks to your item? Please note, it will be brought forward at the special for consideration at the next scheduled special council meeting on October 25th, 2021. Go ahead,
Yes.
Councillor Russell.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Miklick and I have discussed this with staff over the last little while. A couple of things brought this to the radar. First, residents along the lake have started seeing short-term rentals through Airbnbs increasing during COVID. This has raised a few concerns about safety, given the issues we are having with erosion on our waterfront and complaints about excessive noise, property damage from our full-time residents. Secondly, we are hearing and seeing other lake municipalities have issues as condo developments continue to increase. We have a number of similar developments coming online in the next few years, and we want to be as proactive as possible to ensure those residents and families that live there will have the peace of mind about their accommodations and their neighbors. We know there's a high demand for new housing opportunities in Lincoln. We want to see if there are ways to ensure that the units are being purchased by residents and not as a short-term rental investment. With that being said, we recognize the importance in short-term accommodations to support our tourism sector, which encourage visitation and economic activity. But we realize that development of public policy and regulations are essential to ensure that they find the right space to operate with due consideration to our full-time residents. We know the town of Lincoln's approved tourism strategy calls for increased private sector investment to fill the accommodation gap. Staff have already had preliminary conversations around short-term accommodations, so we would like to bring a motion forward to evaluate some of the best practices and policies of other municipalities that are bringing forth. We would like to continue and look forward to the conversations as we bring this notice of motion forward, I believe on October the 25th at our next regular council meeting, and having a fulsome discussion with our colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor, and we look forward to that. We move on then to item 14, report of municipal officers. I want to add a little bit to the comments regarding Councillor McPherson's comments regarding the opening of the museum. This is, I think most people know, the museum originally opened in 1953. And it's taken all this time to achieve permanency, especially permanency with the climate controlled and space that is really required to look after artifacts at a high standard. I want to thank all the councillors who were able to attend, and Councillor Foster for attending. There were a number of other politicians that attended as well, including MP Vance Badaway and also local MPP Sam Oosterhoff. I suppose the most notable person who attended, I think everybody was notable that attended, but it's always a pleasure to have Senator Peter Harder attend because he is from the Vineland area and knows the story behind the museum very, very well. Pioneer Day was just a wonderful event on Saturday. I don't think I've ever seen the weather so perfect and a great turnout, even COVID or not. We hadn't had apple fritters for a long time in this area, and Jordan Station United Church was there, and I don't think they've ever tasted better. So it was really quite wonderful. The Art is Here event on Sunday was also another event. The staff just were going from one piece of hard work to another, and this is really the beginning of a very nice combination of Pioneer Day and the Art Festival the next day. So we can expect to see that one grow. I want to thank the CAO and all of the staff of the museum, the staff of all that were throughout the town. There isn't anybody that wasn't touched by this project. I believe it is the most complex. It's not the most expensive, but it is the most complex and detailed project that the town has accomplished to date. Everyone that has had any connection with the museum and people that have not are very enthused by the investment that has been made. And it has brought, just having the opening has really revitalized people's perspective on another asset that the town of Lincoln has made available to them. So that's the end of my remarks for this evening. And I'll turn now to our regional councillor, Rob Foster, for his report. Councillor Foster.
Thank you very much, Mayor Easton. Good evening, council, and a few things I'm just going to add in from Mayor Easton's remarks. I very much enjoyed being at the opening of the new museum and cultural center on Friday evening. Sue and I both very much enjoyed ourselves at the event. I will say it was great bringing greetings along from the regional chair to the event. But I think just, you know, and I know the longtime members of council, you know, this has been an ongoing battle up to where we are today, and what a beautiful facility this council has put in place. I also had the opportunity to go out with Councillor Russell and Mary Easton, and actually Councillor Patrieva, I believe, was there as well. For the new super ditch / improvements that we have made down and through that particular area, and it is just amazing watching the people out and making use of it. I think what a great a new part for our community. So my notes were pretty simple this evening. I want to wish all of you guys a happy Thanksgiving this upcoming weekend. Sue and I came up to the cottage late yesterday, and I didn't like the weather forecast being provided by Councillor Russell earlier, but I suspect we're going to be in the middle of rain for the next number of days, but that's okay. She has work lined up for me. We have regional council meetings next week. What's going on? There's a number of issues in and around public works that will be brought up, and I'm going to be able to do some reporting after that. The motion that I put forward that mimics the one from St. Catharines concerning the reduction of speeds in non-posted areas was passed at regional council. Bottom line with this is that it's a motion, and we're sending information to the province saying we think this is a good idea. I do know that that's going to be coming to each one of the councils that have not provided input on that, and I very much hope Lincoln Council will take a look at it and put in their own motion in that area. And big news this past week. So Ron Tripp is now our full-time CAO. I can tell you, as a member of the CAO recruitment team, this was a long process. It was a very fair process. It was we ended up while Ron is a name that everybody knows, and of course has been the interim CAO for the past 2 years. This was not by any stretch of the imagination a handing over to Ron. We had a very fulsome recruiting process that we went through, and Ron was the one that ended up becoming the successful candidate from it. So I'm very pleased and looking very much forward to working with Ron. I know Ron and our CAO have a good relationship. I know Mayor Easton has a good relationship with Ron as well. So this is all good, and hopefully this is going to be something very positive for our municipality. And that is my report for this evening.
Thank you very much, Councillor Foster. Councillors, do you have any questions of Regional Council? Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and Councillor Foster, thank you for your report, and fantastic to see Ron Tripp assume the full-time position. Really, I know you did a countrywide search, but no surprise, he's been doing a fine job. I think from seeing what we see from a lower municipality, it seems like he's the right man. So good on you guys to bring him on. My question is with regards to the presentation that we had several weeks ago from Carol Ryle, and at that presentation, we learned of some delays in a couple of projects that, from what I understand, caught all of us attending here tonight by surprise. So I wonder if there's any updates that you and or our CAO can provide to us as to where we're at and where we are going with regards to those projects, being the Vineland downtown redo or revitalization, and then the King Street West coming into to Beamsville. Those two key projects that expectations were that they would be completed into 2023, and from what we heard 3 weeks ago, that's not going to happen. It will be 2024. So Councillor Foster, if I could start with you, and then if the CAO has any comments. Thank you.
Councillor, there was a meeting held today with Councillor Foster and myself, the CAO and Mr. Tripp. So I'm going to ask the CAO to give the update on that meeting. It just took place this afternoon, and then we'll go immediately to Councillor Foster. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Kokopoulos, if you will.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the council and to all members of council. We did have a meeting this afternoon. It had originally been scheduled for early last week, but ended up getting moved. I don't think we heard anything new per se in that meeting, other than the challenges that the region is facing, looking at the amount of work that needs to be done across the region and the complexity of all the projects and the cost to do all the work that needs to be done. One thing that CAO Tripp did commit to, and that was if they can't be fully in, and I'm reading his quote, and I said I'd quote him tonight. If they can't be fully in, to start preliminary work. That is where we're sitting right now. No, that's not to say that that's a for sure that they're going to start work next year as originally planned, nor is it a for sure to say that they won't. I know Regional Council has a kickoff to their capital budget process later this week. And I know both Mayor Easton and Regional Councillor Foster are going to advocate around that table. They told CAO Tripp they would, and they would strongly. But right now it looks like, as per the update we received today, the hope is preliminary work still starts in 2022. Councillor McPherson, with the majority of the work in 2023 and going over to 2024.
Yeah, so if I can jump in, Councillor McPherson, because I know you'll have a bunch of questions with this, but and just in a quick comment, what I suspect from everyone is that I think by the reaction of both Mayor Easton and myself in that presentation that was given at the last council meeting, like, first of all, there was an awful lot of very positive things that were actually provided to us in and through the presentation. There is a number of items that are coming down on the road and transportation side of things. But it was in a degree of vague generalities, 3 to 5 year timeframes, et cetera, et cetera. And the change that hit on the date on these other two projects that you've mentioned, it quite frankly came as a surprise to the two of us. So we have been advocating and in discussions with a wide variety of people at Niagara Region since then. They have been quite good, explaining why it is that they're looking at some of these changes. And I can suggest to you that both Mayor Easton and I have been very clear on the unacceptability of the movement of these projects. I'm Mayor Easton and Mike can add to this. The discussion today actually was fairly positive with Ron. There's a secondary look going on with the west of Beamsville project. That has been engineered at this point in time, and so they're looking at whether or not there's funding can be put in place to actually make that particular project work. And you can be assured that Mayor Easton and I are going to be advocating for that. As far as downtown Vineland goes, and again, Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's also some engineering issues that are coming into play as they have been reviewing this particular project in the downtown Vineland area. There's some drainage issues that were suggested is making it a bit more on the complex side than what they had originally expected. So there's engineering that's still going on within that. Ron did say to us that the region itself likes to go, and just like the town, can put complete packages in place. In other words, you're going to go and hit all of the different components at one particular point in time when you're redoing a particular road. They're not quite there yet with the downtown Vineland area. He did say, though, that he would take a look at it from a I guess, staging with it as well, because there is an awful lot of underground work is going to have to be done in order to get us to the right stages with that project as well. So I'm not going to do a whole bunch of flowers and sunshine on this thing. We have some work ahead of us to get things back on the rail. And I think council did a very good job of explaining that to Director Rael at the last meeting, and you can be assured that we have also been in significant discussions with those at the region that needed to hear this. So, Mary Easton, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, I'm just going to ask Councillor, thank you very much, Councillor. I'm going to ask Councillor McPherson to just complete his questions, and there may be others. I don't see anybody at the moment, but Councillor McPherson, please carry on.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and that's good. I appreciate Councillor Foster, you and Madam Mayor going to bat and really pushing hard to keep these two projects on original schedule. I think as far as the challenges of the drainage, I think we all know that that's not new. I mentioned that the night of the meeting that, they have been looking at this project for almost 10 years at least with and probably longer. So to hear that, well, it's going to cost us more time because we're running into drainage issues, it really doesn't resonate. It resonated more when I heard that, the comment coming, well, we're going to be doing a lot of investing in Lincoln, so you have to be patient. That to me was more of a, well, you know what, I don't like it, but it's probably more a more valid reason than to say, well, we can't be guaranteeing that date because we're unsure of the engineering side of it. So again, thank you for raising these challenges to Ron and bringing Ron in and having a discussion. And from what I heard from the CAO, it sounds like we are expecting the project to be moving forward in 2022 with some of the design work, engineering work, and then that we would get that project up and running in 2023 to be completed in 2024. That to me is probably acceptable. I think that if we're starting the project in 2024, I think that's going to be a very, very challenging decision to explain to the very patient and becoming more impatient residents of Vineland. So those would be my comments. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much.
If I can just add, Mary Easton, and thank you for those comments, Paul. I appreciate it. And the reality on this, and it's very difficult being a counselor, and you guys get this as well, even within. I know staff do their best to keep you appraised of what it is that's going on with projects and changes to them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it was just unfortunate that these two particular ones, both of which have been not only yourself, but also Councillor Bernay, it's been high on the priority list to have these move forward and making sure that all the different components of this have been thought through. Anyway, just the long and the short of it is that it was unfortunate that it sort of evolved the way it did. I don't apologize for it on a personal level because the bottom line is I got caught by surprise the same as you guys. So so we're going to do our I'll use the word darndest. Is that the correct word? I don't know, but we will be attempting to get these things back on some semblance of the rail line and make sure that it's that's moving ourselves forward with them. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Madam Clerk, I don't see any other hands. Deputy Mayor, if you would just take the chair for a moment, I just want to make a few comments.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Go ahead.
Thank you. The meeting today was, was very reasonable, as it should be. However, when you're having a conversation like that and you're not on camera, you can be very frank with each other, and we certainly did just that. We have not changed our process in the town of Lincoln. I can only speak to the last 7 years. We haven't changed our process at all. We have a robust strategic plan. We massage our 10-year capital plan very well at budget time. And we do our own due diligence in terms of the pro forma or preliminary work that needs to be done on projects. So it is not unknown to Lincoln that this is how you get work done. Sometimes you have to take baby steps. If you think back to the big asset related projects that we've had in the last couple of years, last 2 to 3 years, every one of them had a major development assigned to it. And I think that it would be very beneficial for the Vineland project for us to get some development moving on as well that relates to that project. I don't know what the drainage issues are, how complex they are, but I do know that they a good portion of them are on private property. And so maybe that's where the discussion about the Drainage Act comes in. I don't know for certain, but I know that there is private property involved. I think we all know that. So our process has not changed. We have a plan, we have been working on a plan, and we do that by having a lot of conversations with people. What disappointed me most about this situation is that the commitment that we believed that was there was not there. There didn't seem to be a good understanding about the context of the projects, even the one related to the new school. However, it would appear for all intents and purposes that there's going to be further discussions. And the discussion in Vineland will also be one that, as Councillor McPherson reinforced, goes in pieces to get the momentum up and coming. And maybe that's where the commitment, that's where we will get the committee that we are accustomed to. We've always had that commitment. Another discussion that I think is going to take place, and it won't be a popular one, because we're not the only community in this situation. There are 2 others. However, the region has a serious problem of underfunding its infrastructure, serious. And the staff have already told us that the cost of addressing the infrastructure is over 2% per year, probably ad infinitum. So we can continue to withhold the cost, the true cost of what it takes to get these jobs done in our communities, or we can do what we do in Lincoln and lay out a plan that's quite tight and then start putting it in motion. And I spoke very frankly with the CAO today about that, and he understands that we are accustomed to having a much more committed discussion. So that will come again, and it'll happen also between the 2 CAOs. Councillor Foster and I will have our eye on the budgets coming forward, the preliminary parts of it are coming forward. But I appreciate your patience and your understanding to the extent that you can exhibit that understanding, and we'll do our very, very best to get this back on track. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr.
Madam Mayor, I turn the chair back over to you.
Thank you very much. All right.
Madam Mayor, we have Regional Councillor Foster with his hand up.
Yeah.
Head Councillor.
Yep, I'm just so just to sort of finalize that as we're going along. It was a very frank discussion that we had today with CAO Trip, and I think there's a number of things we're hoping are going to come about from this. The simple reality is that Lincoln, and we all know it, is a fast-growing community, there's a number of infrastructure needs that have to be done. It's not like you guys with what it is that you're planning, Dave and the team and everyone else, like we have to make sure that the region is keeping up with this. And so again, both Mayor Easton, myself, and to a strong degree, the CAO laid out very clearly that there's projects that are coming into play for a fast developing community. We just got to get these done. So anyway, we will keep you guys apprised as we're moving along through our budget process and see where this is going to land us. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Foster. I have a motion moved by Councillor McPherson and seconded by Councillor Wynjima. The council receive and file as information the following reports of municipal officers: Mayor's report and regional councillor update. Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote?
Councillor Brune,
Yes.
Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Miklik,
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva,
Yes.
Councillor Reimer,
Yes.
Councillor Rajima,
Yes.
Councillor Russell,
Yes.
Councillor Timmers,
Yes.
Mayor Easton.
Report.
That carries.
Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you, Rob. Bye-bye. We have no confidential items this evening. Item number 16, motion to approve bylaws. We have 6 bylaws for consideration today, and we will be considering bylaw 2021-80 separately due to the declared conflict of interest. I guess we'll be saying goodbye for a few moments, Councillor Ryan.
Not just yet, Madam Mayor. That'll be after.
Okay, I thought maybe we were going to deal with that item first. Okay. All right. I have a motion moved by Councillor Russell and seconded by Councillor Pachariva that we be given to approve the following bylaws. 2021-78, a bylaw to authorize the execution of a community improvement plan grant agreement between the Corporation of the Town of Lincoln and Mike Canisso Investments Incorporated. 2021-79, a bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan agreement between the Corporation of the Town of Lincoln, Solera Commons, Inc., together with any and all mortgagees that may be on title at the point of registration of the agreement. 2021-81, bylaw to authorize the conveyance of lands to Ruth and Nathan Velhusen. 2021-82, bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan assumption agreement between the Corporation of the Town of Lincoln and NHDG Utopia Inc., together with any and all mortgagees that may be on title at the point of registration of the agreement. 2021-83, Z565, bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 93-14-Z1 as amended of the Town of Lincoln, 1950578, Ontario, Inc. Councillors, I'm going to, I'm asking for questions, and Deputy Mayor, which item are you interested in?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was wondering if we could pull item 16.6, bylaw 2021-83-Z5 65 and vote on that separately.
Okay, thank you very much. And Councillor Mikulik, which item are you looking at?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I was looking at the same bylaw.
Okay.
Request that we vote on that separately.
Okay, that's fine. Madam Clerk, do you see any other hands?
I do not, Madam Mayor.
Okay, all right. So let's deal with 2021-78, 79, 81, and 82.
Correct.
Madam Clerk, just a moment. Yes, I've read that. Madam Clerk, would you please call out the vote on those items?
Thank you. And this is moved by Councillor Russell, seconded by Councillor Pachariva. So I'll call out the vote. Councillor Brune,
Yes.
Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Miklik,
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva,
Yes.
Councillor Reimer,
Yes.
Councillor Rajima,
Yes.
Councillor Russell,
Yes.
Councillor Timmers,
Yes.
Mayor Easton.
Support.
And that carries.
Okay, now we'll move to item 2021-83-Z565, and we'll go to Deputy Mayor Councillor Russell first.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor. I didn't want to speak on it. I just wanted to pull it separately for vote.
Okay, all right. And is that your intention as well, Councillor Mikulik? No commenting, you just wanted to vote on it separately. Okay, that's fine. All right, then we'll,
So we need a mover and a seconder, Madam Mayor.
we have, yes, we need a new one. All right, that'll be Councillor Pachariva and Councillor McPherson. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, if you would call it the vote.
Thank you. Councillor Brunei,
Yes.
Councillor McPherson,
Yes.
Councillor Mikulik,
No.
Councillor Pachariva,
No.
Councillor Reimer,
Yes.
Councillor Rajima,
Yes.
Councillor Russell.
No.
Councillor Timmers
Yes.
and Mayor Easton.
Support.
That carries.
All right. The clerk now will proceed to remove Councillor Reimer from the meeting in relation to his earlier declared conflict of interest. Madam Clerk, you just let us know when you're ready to proceed.
Thank you. He has been removed for this discussion.
All right. So, councillors, we're now talking about bylaw 2021-80. Do members have any questions pertaining to 2021-80? And I see Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And this is a question about the plans for the site plan of this development. And there's not any question about the movement forward of this on my part. You know, it's as I understand it, it's all within zoning, and it is not got any changes that would come to Committee of Adjustment and or council. So my question is around mitigation of noise, of visual mitigation, mitigation of lighting, that type of thing for the residents that will face this development on 11th Street, just north of 4th Avenue, and if there's those on 4th Avenue. So I wonder if I could ask our Director of Planning, through you, Madam Chair, to comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Mr. Grudy.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, good question for sure. And, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, that it's been very gracious of this particular property owner. They've been reaching out to their neighbors throughout this whole process. They held an introductory meeting with them and kind of got some of the concerns out on the table, some of the visual concerns with greenhouses, the alignment of the driveway, like you said, with some lighting, and overall beautification of the site. And I'm happy to say that we've made a lot of ground to date. For instance, the entrance, we've come to a location that the neighbor across the street has preferred, the specific alignment. We work with the region on that. We're also looking at having the first portion of it. We're making sure that it's paved as well to keep those dust impacts down for some of the neighbors. In terms of landscaping, they're going to be planting some more mature trees, and sometimes we would see with site plans all along the frontage and especially along the western side of the site, which is where there's a transition to the residents. So definitely cognizant of that. We're also discussing the placement of some berms too, in addition to those placement of trees, just to make sure that we're addressing that whole visual impact. From a lighting standpoint, there's a couple of things. As per all site plans, we always make sure we review their photometrics plans, which show, that there's no light trespass beyond the property lines. And that's evidenced further by some of the light standards that have been proposed in the site plan to date. They're downward firing only, very focused downwards, which is what we want to see specifically with these types of developments with greenhouses. So they're really minimizing the impacts both up into the sky, as sometimes we've seen perhaps with some older greenhouses, as well as sideways into adjacent properties. So overall, we're continuing to finalize some of these details, but there's been a lot of effort that's been put in place with respect to trying to mitigate any potential impacts that the neighbors are bringing up.
Very, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Director, and very good to hear that this owner is very willing to work with us and with the neighbors to really reduce the potential impact to these neighbors, to all of those things, you know. And I think that if we can come to agreement on the berms and on the landscaping to have separation between the greenhouse operation and the residents, that'd be great. And as far as the lighting goes, it sounds like they are doing everything they can to minimize the impact in the surrounding area from a lighting standpoint too. So nice work, and look forward to seeing it all come to fruition. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I see no other questions, Madam Clerk.
Seeing none.
I have a motion moved by Councillor Mikulik and seconded by Councillor McPherson, that leave be given to approve the following bylaw. 2021-80, bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan agreement between the Corporation of the Town of Lincoln Crossing, Jordan Holdings, Inc., together with any and all mortgagees that may be on title at the point of registration of the agreement. Madam Clerk, would you please call it the vote?
Thank you, Councillor Brunet.
Yes.
Councillor McPherson.
Yes.
Councillor Mikulik.
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva.
Yes.
Councillor Rajima.
Yes.
Councillor Russell.
Yes.
Councillor Timmers.
Yes.
And Mayor Easton.
Support.
And that carries.
Councillors, we now confirm the proceedings of the special council meeting. I have a motion moved by Councillor Brunet and seconded by Councillor Timmers, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 2021-84, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of special council at its meeting held on Monday, October the 4th, 2021, being read a first, second, and third time. That bylaw number 2021-84 be enacted and passed, and that the mayor and clerk sign and seal the said bylaw. Madam Clerk, please call out the vote.
Councillor Brunet.
Yes.
Councillor McPherson.
Yes.
Councillor Mikulik.
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva.
Yes.
Reimer.
Yes.
Councillor Rajima.
Yes.
Councillor Russell.
Yes.
Councillor Timmers.
Yes.
Mayor Easton.
Vote.
And that carries.
Before we motion to adjourn the meeting, do members have any additional comments? Councillor McPherson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And just a question, knowing that we are entering October now and looking at re-entering council chambers, I wonder if there's an update to how we're doing in our preparations to head back into council chambers. Through you, Mayor.
Certainly. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, through you to the councillor. I did circulate an update to all of council advising of a delay due to some equipment that is coming out of China that has been delayed to the distributor. So there is an anticipated return date for a committee of the whole meeting on October 18th, and we'll ensure that council is trained in all aspects to hold a hybrid meeting prior to.
Pretty good, Councilor.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? I have a motion moved by Councillor Rajima and seconded by Councillor Pachariva that the special council meeting on October the 4th, 2021 be adjourned at 1900 hours. I'll have the clerk call out the vote.
Thank you, Councillor Brunet.
Yes.
Councillor McPherson.
Yes.
Councillor Mikulik.
Yes.
Councillor Pachariva.
Yes.
Councillor Reimer.
Yes.
Councillor Rajima.
Yes.
Councillor Russell.
Yes.
Councillor Timmers.
Yes.
And Mayor Easton.
Yes. Thank you very much. Hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving.